Eala returns to action, faces Turkish foe at start of Abu Dhabi Open. Manila, Philippines. Alex Eala resumes her campaign in the WTA Tour against Turkey's Zeynep Sönmez in round 1 of the stacked WTA 500 Mubadala Abu Dhabi Open starting Monday at the Zayed Sports City International Center. It will be the third duel between two good pals, with the 20-year-old Filipina holding a 2-0 head-to-head advantage after wins in the 2023 W60 Nantes in France and the 2025 Eastbourne Open in England. Eala, WTA number 49, plunges into action with an all-time high morale after bringing the first-ever WTA tournament at home, the WTA 125 Philippine Women's Open, where she reached the quarterfinals after a 6-4, 6-4 defeat to eventual champion Camila Osorio of Colombia, WTA number 84. Game time is still to be determined after the ongoing qualifiers, but hopes are high for Eala to go deep in the rich Middle East city despite going up against a stacked squad led by reigning champion, number 1 seed and WTA number 10 Belinda Bencic of Switzerland. Also in the fray are world number 11 Ekaterina Alexandrova of Russia, number 2 seed, number 14 Clara Tauson of Denmark, number 3 seed, and number 15 Emma Navarro of the United States, number 4 seed. Tauson is a familiar foe whom Eala beat in the round 1 of the US Open, 6-3, 2-6, 7-6, 13-11, to become the first Filipino winner in any Grand Slam main draw. Former Grand Slam champion Jelena Ostapenko of Latvia, number 24, whom Eala drubbed in the 2025 Miami Open that ignited her entry to the top 100 and later on top 50 as the first Filipina to do so, is also among the top seeds along with number 18 Ludmila Samsonova of Russia, Filipina-Canadian Leylah Fernandez, number 23, and Paula Badosa, number 26, of Spain. "Practice day," said the weary Eala, who wasted no time refining her bearings upon landing in the bustling city. She left Manila on Friday night. Eala will also strut her stuff in the doubles, teaming up with Southeast Asian pal Janice Tien of Indonesia, WTA number 59. The 23-year-old Jen beat her junior rival Eala, 6-4, 6-1, in the WTA 250 Sao Paulo Open quarterfinals last year, but they're now joining forces for SEA tennis against Fernandez, doubles number 68, and Kristina Mladenovic of France, doubles number 49. Under the pale morning sun of Abu Dhabi, where the air hums with quiet ambition and the courts gleam like polished mirrors, Alexandra Alex Eala walks back into competition carrying more than just a racket bag. She carries time, weeks of recovery, reflection, restraint, and the familiar, restless hunger of a player who has been forced to watch instead of play. The Abu Dhabi Open is her re-entry point. Not a grand slam, not a fairy tale center court spectacle, but something more honest, a first step forward. And standing across the net in the opening round is a Turkish opponent equally eager to prove her place, equally unburdened by expectations, and therefore dangerous in her own way. For Eala, this match is not just about winning. It's about rhythm, about trust, about reminding her body, and perhaps herself, that she still belongs in the flow of competition. A return shaped by patience. In a sport that worships momentum, absence can feel like erasure. Tennis does not pause for anyone. Rankings slide, draws reshuffle, and headlines move on. Yet for Eala, time away from the tour has been less about loss and more about recalibration. At just 18, she has already lived several tennis lives. Junior prodigy, Grand Slam champion at the youth level, history maker for Philippine tennis, and now, a young professional navigating the unforgiving reality of the WTA Tour. Each phase demands something different. Talent opens doors. Discipline keeps them open. Patience, often learned the hard way, determines how long you stay inside. Abu Dhabi feels symbolic. A clean slate. Hard courts that reward clarity and courage. A tournament that has become a proving ground for rising players and seasoned contenders alike. Eala's return does not come with thunder. No dramatic countdown. Just the quiet tightening of strings, the bounce of a ball, the familiar walk toward the baseline. The Turkish challenge. Across the net waits a Turkish foe, hungry, physical, and unencumbered by reputation. Players like this are tricky in opening rounds. They swing freely, chase everything, and test not just your shots but your nerve. For Eala, the matchup is a study in contrasts. Her game has always leaned toward construction rather than chaos, early ball striking, sharp angles, and a left-hander's natural disruption. But timing, especially after time away, is fragile. A fraction late, a fraction hesitant, and control turns into uncertainty. The Turkish opponent will sense this. She will push rallies deep, probe the corners, ask uncomfortable questions early. And that is precisely why this match matters. Because answers only come when the ball is live. More than a first round. To the casual observer, this is simply a round of 32 match on an early court. To Eala, it is a conversation with her own progress. Can she move without thinking? Can she defend without panic? Can she pull the trigger when the opening appears? These are the invisible battles that define a comeback. Not the highlight winners, but the moments in between. The choice to step inside the baseline. The willingness to trust a second serve. The calm to reset after a long rally slips away. Win or lose, the Abu Dhabi Open represents a checkpoint. Proof that preparation has turned back into participation. Carrying a nation quietly. There is also the weight she carries, though she rarely speaks of it. Every time Eala steps on court, she does so as a pioneer. Philippine tennis still lives on the margins of the global stage, and her presence alone bends attention toward possibility. But the beauty of moments like this, early rounds, neutral venues, modest courts, is that they strip away symbolism. Here, she is not a flag-bearer or a headline. She is simply a competitor. And sometimes, that freedom is exactly what a young player needs. The first ball. As match time approaches, the stands fill slowly. Coaches lean forward. Officials check watches. Somewhere beyond the stadium walls, the city goes about its day, unaware of the small, private drama about to unfold. Eala takes her place at the baseline, eyes steady, shoulders loose. Across from her, the Turkish player mirrors the stance, bouncing on her toes, ready to disrupt. The coin toss ends. The warm-up concludes. When the first ball is struck, it will not announce a comeback with fireworks. But it will mark something just as important: continuation. In tennis, returning is an act of courage. Staying is an act of belief. And in Abu Dhabi, under a sun that rewards persistence, Eala begins again. Leading to Abu Dhabi, Eala is having a roaring start to her 2026 season so far, following a semi-final finish at the ASB Classic in Auckland, an exhibition championship in the Kuyang Classic in Melbourne, and a last 8 stint in Manila. Eala also came off a historic main draw debut in the Australian Open, the first Pinay to do so as well, albeit she bowed to WTA number 99 Alicia Parks, the fastest serve in women's tennis history, 6-0, 3-6, 2-6 in round 1.